quotes Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount where he says, I say to you, heaven and earth shall pass away before one jot or one tittle will pass from this law. Then the guy said this as though this is some sort of a debate win for him. He said, well, that's the Old Testament. What about the New Testament? And Charlie looked at him and he said, so do you think the Old Testament is somehow less than the New Testament? And the guy said, well, yeah, because Jesus is the fulfillment of all the Old Testament. He goes, yeah, it is true that Jesus is the fulfillment of all the Old Testament, but it doesn't invalidate the Old Testament. And then he quotes Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount where he says, I say to you, heaven and earth shall pass away before one jot or one tittle will pass from this law. This Old Testament, he said, I didn't come to destroy the law, I came to fulfill the law. And so you have within the Old Testament this. The Old Testament is the root, the New Testament is the fruit. The Old Testament is types and shadows that teach us about this ultimate one that's going to come, this sinless Son of God who will die on the cross so that you and I could experience everlasting life. And it's all cohesive. And so when I talk about the Old Testament, one of the ways that I name it, I will sometimes say the Older Testament and the Newer Testament, because I don't want you to think that somehow just because it's Old Testament it's archaic. Somehow because it's Old Testament it doesn't matter to us, because it does matter to us. There's so much teaching that's there, so much biography in the Old Testament is theology lived out in biography, and it's powerful and profound.